In the last episode, we revealed our wide body kit for our Mark IV Supra. Today we begin cutting and installing this kit. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to part 2 of us installing our Speedwell's body kit on our Mark IV Supra. This kit is bonkers. It is so wide. I think we're gonna need a wide load sign for the back of this thing on the freeway.
It looks really good. Mickey and Ricky fitted the kit yesterday, got pretty much everything where it needs to be, so now we're gonna actually start cutting up the chassis, tubing those rear tires so we can make everything fit, copacetic, and functional as well.
Great, so I'm gonna get started. You guys have seen us do this process before. To answer your question, yes, we're cutting this chassis. It has to happen. It has to be done.
It has to be done.
We gotta get this thing sitting right, and we need to make clearance for our big tires that are gonna go into the back of this car, because this one's gonna be making some power.
Yes, it will be making power.
We'll be making a lot of power. So we want to put a proper tire into the back. In order to widen this car properly, we need to do what we normally do, and that's clearance the wheel well arches. Don't worry guys, we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna preserve this chassis to a point where it can live on the rest of its life. We're not have to worry about rust or that sort of thing, or debris getting up inside the chassis. We're gonna seal it off right, the way we always do, and take really good care of her, because this is our baby.
It is,
after all.
but it's still getting cut. So
but it's still getting cut.
I don't feel bad about it.
I don't.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. There's really nothing left to do but to pull this body kit back off the car and get everything marked so we can start cutting it up. I am gonna have to run to the store and get some metal, so we're gonna do that today as well, and we'll bring you guys along for the journey.
Get started.
Okay, well I went ahead and marked the driver's side fender, and we're gonna go ahead and start cutting this out. Just kind of made a quick tape line for myself just to follow along. A lot of times we use a combination of the angle grinder as well as the body saw. So I also have a body saw handy here. This is actually quite nice to use this if you have access to one of these, because you can kind of just get in here. It's not as messy. The angle grinder, the blade disintegrates, the metal goes everywhere. It's just loud and messy. This is loud and not messy, I guess is the best way to put it. So a lot of times I'll start with that, just get it started, and then we'll run the zip it around here, and then we figure out inside what we need to cut, and then we start building our templates. As you guys can see, as I'm cutting here, starting to see that this lower fender has been skim coated with Bondo, so it makes it a little easier to cut this one up, knowing that it's probably had some sort of damage on the chassis at some point previously. So now we're gonna fix it, make it look cool at the same time. So the trick here is we want to cut this nice and straight. So we don't want to cut it at an angle so the inner is lower than the outer, or the inner is higher than the outer, because then you end up with a funky angle when you go to weld in your new material. So what we want to try to do is actually keep this as straight as possible as we cut. So you'll see I'm going to use the body as basically as my guide. So this is going to be my template now. I'm going to try to run that in as straight as possible, because if you don't, it ends up leading to more work.
If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the throtl YouTube channel and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss an episode.
now you can see the shape that we're trying to achieve here. What we did was we used a tire that's very similar in size to the tire that we're gonna be running on the car. The car's gonna be making some big power, so we're gonna be running these on the back most likely. We're probably gonna go up to a 315 is my guess out back because we've got such a wide body kit on this car now. This is a 275, so I know that the 315, after doing some research, is about 2 inches taller, so that's 1 inch top, 1 inch bottom. But I did use this as a radius, and then I kind of opened up the ends to kind of give us a little more clearance for any type of fluctuation that there may be. This is going to be a really nice cut, and what's cool is it's going to be all resealed, and there will be no element able to get inside the chassis, and we're also going to add that structural rigidity back into the arch. And we're also going to add our typical flaps that we do. We'll put the body kit back on. We'll figure out how far out the body kit sticks, so how big this gap is essentially between the fiberglass and the steel, and we'll make our template stick out that far. That way when you put the fiberglass over fender on, it's all sealed. What's cool is these aren't removable fenders. These are gonna go on and stay on. The guys over at BCC Unlimited can actually seal the body kit directly to what we're gonna add, which is gonna be really sound and help keep it from flopping around any. All right, well, we made the first cut, and after discussing it, Quinn mentioned that it might be a good idea to go a little higher, simply because now that we're moving everything so far out, we now have this ridge that's gonna be right above, basically right above our tire, and if it contacts it, cut the tire down, it could be really bad. Mind you, we are making a nice flat surface, so it probably wouldn't cut it, but we definitely don't wanna be making contact with it. And being that this body kit is gonna be molded to the car, we don't wanna have to go back and do this twice. It's gonna be really difficult once the body kit's on, so might as well go big. We won't have any clearance issues.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a wheel well cut right there, baby. That's perfect. So Mickey's got that side dialed in. That's the driver's side. So I'm gonna tape line around the other tape line, peel that tape line off, and then clean the paint off on the fender so we can get a good welding surface for that. And I'm gonna be wire wheeling the underside to get all the wheel liner off. Prep that side for welding, then we can start making our templates and actually solidifying and adding structure back into this cut wheel well. While I'm doing that, Mickey's gonna start eyeballing the other side. We can get both sides prepped like this, cleaned, and then we can start making our plating and weld everything together, and we'll be pretty much done. Right. Oh, yeah. Look at that, baby. We're done with cup fender, boy.
All right, what's next, man?
So Mickey finished cutting our side, so I gotta do the same thing I did on the other side, which is prep all this stuff. So we gotta get rid of the first layer of paint here, prep it for weld, and then we gotta get our rotary tool back out and clean off all this crap underneath. If you look at the other side, I'm already finished. So if you look up here, we got a nice, clean, weldable surface all the way around the fender liner. And if you look up inside of there, we got clean, fresh, weldable metal all on the inside. So I gotta do that to the other side. Then we can start making our templates for the wheel well. Cut the templates, weld them on, seam seal it, primer it, done. So now that this side is done, we gotta start making templates and then start making our metal plating that's gonna go in there and welding that in place. But first, it's lunchtime. I'm gonna go eat.
Wait, so before lunch, earlier I asked you how many wide body kits you've installed.
Oh, yeah.
You said like 10.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I tried to like
Okay,
think
so
of 10.
I don't think it's quite 10.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do we got?
We got I think we're getting close to 10. We're closer to 10 than we are to 0.
What do we got on the list?
So Eclipse, Josh Graham's GC8, Alex's BRZ. We got the R32. This is going. This is happening now. I'm not even counting those. I'm just saying them out. My FD, which I did in my.
So I counted all those, and I was like, all right, that's 6. Maybe he's got some under his sleeve I don't know about.
Not really. I think that's about it. We did like some bolt-on stuff, like the Ranger. That's not really a wide body though.
No.
So that's 6. That's closer to 10 than it is to 0.
And they're all pretty cool cars, like a GC8, a BRZ, an R32, an FD, a Supra.
They're
like
pretty hard-hitting cars, which is cool. So
some tough cars to have under your
We're on our way up there, which is. I feel like there's one other car I'm forgetting. I didn't cut the Z, but I put the kit on.
Z may count, 6 or 7.
But I didn't cut the wheel arches and any of that stuff. They were just like, put the kit on. So I was like, boop.
Yeah, 6 or 7. 0.5. 6.5.
6.5. That's close to 10-ish. Oh, Mark 5. There you go.
Geez.
Yeah, me and Ricky did that in 2 days.
I think
7.5.
7.5.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So we're getting there. A few. Getting the hang of it. So I just tacked the front and back corner of our fender well here. So this isn't like thick enough of a gap to run the plate steel in. So I just brought it in, tacked it a little bit so those will stay in place, and now we can start running our metal across the whole well. So Mickey just ran to IMS to grab metal for us, and I'm just doing some minor things. I made a plate to fill in both of these, and I tacked them in place. I'm currently making one for the antenna, since we're gonna be deleting that, and I need to make one for the rear wiper arm as well. So I'm making little plates, shooting them with weldable primer. We're gonna put it in from the back, tack it in place, and then we're gonna seam seal it so it doesn't leak fluid or any water or anything that is out in the environment when this car is sitting outside. And then the body shop is gonna come in and fill this. I think this is covered by our body kits, or these, but just to have them seam sealed and know that they're sealing well. So that's what I'm working on. As soon as Mickey gets back with our metal, we're gonna start plating these, and then we'll keep carrying on with the body kit.
You guys have seen this process here many times, so we're not going to really get down into the nitty-gritty details of it, but basically made some quick templates, and Quinn's tracing that template onto 22 gauge sheet metal. He's going to cut that out and tack weld that in place. We'll move on to the other side. That's going to create an upper wheel well that's going to then seal to the outside of our quarter panel. Keep any road debris, rubber elements, whatever, out of the chassis. Keep it all sealed up, just like we mentioned previously.
Yeah. Got my template drawn out on this piece of metal. We're gonna clamp it down. I'm gonna cut it with this, and then we're gonna clean the edges of it and then check pipping on the Supra. Yeah, this sucks.
All right, well that didn't work.
Nah, we're trying different things, experimenting.
What's going on back here, Quinny?
We got us a Ricky, baby. He's back in the house, brother.
I wish I was here to cut it, but you guys already cut this thing. So
Yeah, did you see it? Did you take a look under there?
I looked at the other side, yeah. It's good. It's actually, I noticed that Quinn already made this, and I'm assuming this is going all the way out to the quarter panel?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yep. So, as short as Ricky is, he doesn't like bending over, so we're gonna put this up on the rack so that he can work more efficiently.
Hey, it'll save my knees.
You're gonna weld those plates in?
Yeah, I'm gonna weld it, and then correct anything that needs to be correct. Because a lot of the time, like this is really hard to do. People think it's easy, but it's not. And at some point, we've done it in one piece. The problem with doing it in one piece is like, if you make one tiny mistake, nothing lines up. Nothing. So I'm glad that they decided to do 2-piece. A lot of times I do a 3-piece, but this is fun. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, we'll set it, and I'm gonna need his help, which is why we're doing the lift. So I'll probably be standing in here, holding the plate up, putting pressure on it. At that point, he needs to remove this, and then we need to tack weld it in place, and then keep going. And then from that moment, then we bring the car back down, and then we'll start welding more tacks all the way around, and then we'll start doing a full beat all the way around. That's just the outside, then we have to do the inside, and then that's when it starts getting weird, because once it's tacked here, the metal moves, and then when you put pressure inside to seal it in the inside, everything changes shape. Then we have to put this back on to make sure the shape is there, and then blah, 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 and then, yeah. They ended up doing this yesterday, which is the panel that goes over the original quarter panel. And this space that you see here is what's gonna be the gap missing between the new quarter panel and the existing quarter panel. And it also opens up the entire wheel well area. And because you open it up, now you have a big hole here that goes into the cabin, which is what this does. This covers up the existing hole, and it makes everything back to seal from the weather and everything around it back again like if it was from factory, but with a wide body kit now. That's gonna look like when it's done being welded. And the body kit right here on this area, it comes in and it goes in right here. So everything will be sealed. I just got done tacking this panel with Quinn, and I just did literally just 4 tacks in there for now. And what I'm gonna be doing next, I'm gonna be adding more to that tacks little by little, because it's very thin metal. I'm working with 20 gauge metal. This is pretty much how I set my Lincoln Electric Power MIG 210MP. You go to home, and you press 20 gauge. Oh, I just moved it. This is how sick it is. You select it, and what it does, it gives you a range of what you can use to work on 20 gauge metal. And then it's up to you. If you're the type that likes it hotter or colder, then you just adjust everything here. I like to run it just like this for 20 gauge, right where the machine sets you up. And then if I need to adjust, I make very small adjustment, and the machine literally just sets you right almost at the green lights for you to start welding. So I'm gonna give it a try, see what it does. Just got done welding this second piece here. Ooh, that's still hot. Don't touch that. Next step is I'm gonna be grinding out all this excessive weld, just to make sure on both sides, just to make sure it's nice and smooth. If the tire of the wheel were to get somewhere near, which I shouldn't, because we kept a really big gap. If it were happen to touch this at any point, it's not gonna shave off a piece of the tire. It'll be nice and smooth. Next step, let's see. Yeah, just clean that out, and then it's gonna be seam seal on this area on both sides. Oh no, and I gotta shave a little bit of this too. So it'll be seam seal and then painted, primer, and then this area will be done for the body shop, and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, I am about 80% done with Quinn with this side. Quinn's gonna finish the last 20%. So if you guys can see here, everything is welded, and we are very, very close to the body kit. We are gonna be putting 2 rib nuts and bolts here so they can hold this in place. Everything is being rounded off, and there is no sharp edges anywhere on this. Quinn's gonna finish doing the rib nuts here, bolting this down, seam sealing all the way around, down here, on top, and then we're gonna primer the whole area. That way the body shop has a clean area to work with.
Ricky and Quinn did a great job knocking out the fender flares. Well, I guess they're not really fender flares, right?
The liners, the wheel
they're
liners.
metal wheel well custom. I don't know.
Yeah.
They look sick.
What he said.
They look sick. The custom metal wheel wells for the rear quarter pound.
So as mentioned previously, those are going to keep out rocks, debris, and any elements out of the inside of the car. We went ahead and seam sealed that all up, as you guys saw, and it's ready to go off to Biggiez Customs, where they're going to start laying down the body work and a fresh coat of paint, which I'm excited about. Once you guys see the paint color, you're going to know exactly what we're up to.
Yep, this is gonna be amazing.
All right, that's gonna end today's vlog. We got the Supra off the trailer, parked outside of Biggiez Customs. It's all ready to go for them. The boys are out of town, so I'm doing the outro. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.